Beyond the Golden Gate Bridge awaits glorious Marin County, home to sweeping vistas, diverse cultures, and inspiring causes. Join us for Marinterviews, profiling people and projects, creating a meaningful impact in our community. Hi, I'm Sandra Riley Grimshaw again with Marinterviews, where we profile people and projects making a difference in our community. And today's guest is Tracy Boothe with Drawbridge. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you so much for having me, Sandra. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Tell me all about your fabulous organization. It does so much good in the community.
Oh, thank you. Well, Drawbridge presents free programs for children in domestic violence, homeless shelters, affordable housing facilities, and community centers across 7 San Francisco Bay Area counties. We do about 1,000 art groups a year, working directly with the communities we serve. And it's an amazing program, and it's been going on since 1989.
Wow, I knew it was been around a while, but that is inspiring in itself. That
Absolutely.
there was a need that they addressed. Do you have partners in the community?
We do. We partner with about 24, 25 home and housing facilities, shelters. We also have new partnerships launching with libraries, museums, and other organizations throughout the community, civic organizations as well. So it's a wonderful collaboration. We couldn't do it without our partners.
Did you see a big impact during the pandemic? Either an increased need or just certain different avenues that you needed to address?
Absolutely. It was, I mean, I know for all organizations, everyone had to pivot, everyone had to shift and learn how to address these new real world issues that we were dealing with. But for Drawbridge in particular, and especially in group housing, it posed interesting challenges.
Oh my God,
Whereas
yeah.
we would be able to go in and normally work with a group in person. Now, if we were in a shelter setting, those groups may not be able to meet together collectively to even do virtual programs.
Right.
And then in our affordable housing, where units may have opportunities for individual housing or individual rooms, you still may have several family members in one space trying to use one screen while the rest of the family is operating in their day-to-day needs. So it was some unique challenges in particular to working with different settings of the housing organizations we worked with across the Bay. However, we were still able to continue to connect children with creativity throughout the entire pandemic. We distributed almost 1,000 art kits and launched online virtual programs. Once the children were able to gather in groups, we did both individual and group setting virtual programs with our wonderful facilitators. And then I'm so happy this fall to be able to resume in-person programming using all the safety precautions and procedures that we needed to be able to do to make that a safe experience for both the children, the families, and our volunteers and facilitators as well. So we are just ecstatic to be back with the
Oh
children.
gosh, I think any kind of connection is so important. And those little kids, you just feel that must have been so hard for them to get used to this,
Absolutely.
and they need to play and they need to express. And I just, oh, that's wonderful. Do you have to do, uh, is there a way we can help with outreach, getting the word out, or is it more donor based you might be looking for?
All of the above. All of the above. We were really lucky this past holiday giving season. We received a remarkable donation of hundreds of backpacks from the Action Sports Band vans, and
Right.
then called on our community to help us fill those with art supplies for children, and ended up distributing over several hundred backpacks all across the regions. Our volunteers were driving to Santa Cruz to drop off bags. It was just a remarkable outpouring of support, and I think it's indicative of the affection and love that the community has, and vice versa with Drawbridge for our community to step up in times of need. I know during the pandemic, the notion that, a lot of arts organizations often have a set list of supplies. You buy them at the beginning of
Right.
the year, and then you can use them again and again. Well, in a pandemic, those supplies now had to be either sanitized or replaced. And then if we were bringing them in and dropping them off, those children may not be the same children we would see the next week because the shelter turnover. So
Yeah.
during the summer months of the pandemic, the community stepped in and donated paper, supplies, all of these things that the kids needed to be able to be creative in these unusual times. I think there's just been an overwhelming outpouring of support. So we are so grateful for that.
You feel like, have you run into people that felt, even if they were donating their time or giving, that they felt like they got the benefit versus, because you're giving to these, perfect little souls and in a crazy time. And I think you can
Absolutely.
help.
Absolutely. This has been some of the most rewarding work I have done in my entire career. My background is in museums with an emphasis on working in the community, but to be able to connect with children directly where they live, without having to worry about barriers for transportation or, the economic cost of a parent having to take off time to work,
Right.
or to be able to even get them to a facility other than where they live immediately. It's just remarkable. It's such a rewarding experience.
Do you have any favorite stories of examples of, some either one of the facilities or, stories you heard from some of your facilitators of like how some child had this breakthrough, maybe they were just shy and then they were able to express?
Absolutely. I've heard so many stories about that through the years. One of my favorite stories didn't happen to me directly, but it happened to a facilitator. Some of our facilitators have been with these particular sites and communities. They've watched children grow up through the program. They've watched them become our teen facilitators. Then these families are coming back and bringing their own children, especially to our community center sites. And there's a remarkable story about one of our facilitators being on a bus and looking across and staring at this person and recognizing that the adult in front of them was one of the children that they had worked with. And there was this immediate bond and connection. And the facilitator shared that the now adult
Yeah.
youth artist had continued to use the techniques and the practices of Artbridge throughout his life, and now was himself an artist and was teaching his own children how to use expressive arts to mitigate stress. He's used these techniques throughout the rest of his life. So it's just remarkable to hear these testimonials, really, in many
Yeah,
ways, from the people who
absolutely.
participated.
How does somebody become a facilitator?
Well, we are now actively recruiting new volunteers and facilitators across the Bay. Normally, there is an onboarding period where facilitators in training are able to work
Right.
directly with our longtime facilitators, to work directly with the staff. A lot of our facilitators started as volunteers and then just became so engaged that they wanted to take on their own groups. So we look at a lot of different ways and a lot of different avenues. Now, as the community begins to reopen, we are in demand more than ever before. And so we are actively recruiting people from within the communities we serve too, as well, and making sure that there's these deeply rooted connections between the children and the people that are helping them in these programs.
Do you go through the school, the school districts? Do you do after school programs? What kind of platforms do you have to get Drawbridge out in the community?
We don't currently work with the schools per se, but many of our participants are still students, and so we do work closely with educators. And we have been working with a new partnership with the Alameda Housing Authority that opens up all of our programs in Alameda to anyone who is participating in the AHA program or
Okay.
anyone who's receiving vouchers. So there's a beautiful collaboration between civic and community engagement in that way to help get the words out. but we are open to all opportunities. I think there's huge potential for Drawbridge programs, even beyond what we're currently doing, based on the need and the success of the program.
Oh, that's terrific. What about fundraising, events, people, once we get this information out on our platforms, and if people are inspired to help, how can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely.
What can they do?
They can visit our website at drawbridge.org.
Okay,
We have information on donations. We have information on sponsoring programs, sponsoring children, sponsoring art supplies. And then we have some upcoming events this summer that we will be announcing soon on our
good.
website in support for our summer programs and how people can help make sure that we continue to allow children to have access to quality art programs once the school year is over, as well. So
And do you have
that's
a good relationship with some art supply stores, and do they tend to donate
absolutely.
or sponsor?
We had a wonderful partnership with Flax for this last initiative, and they helped donate objects, art project
Right.
supplies, materials, and then we had a wonderful host of individual donors who then contributed. We also have through our website, you can find our wish lists on Amazon.
Oh,
And then,
great.
of course, any local arts organization that we can be a partner with, we welcome those opportunities.
That's great. And you're in how many counties?
Seven
You're
counties: Marin, San Francisco, Alameda, Sonoma, Santa Clara, San Mateo, and Santa Cruz.
Oh gosh, I'm just so delighted to know about you, and um, we will do what do our networking on our platforms and make sure you can do it too. But it's just been really inspiring. I just love what we're just uncovering, all these silver linings all around the community, and I'm really glad you were able to participate.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us and helping us spread the word about Drawbridge.
Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in person soon, and I'll be looking for opportunities to participate.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Marin Interviews, produced in partnership with Marin Arts, Marin Link, Truce, and D2ISF. Please join us on our mission. Nominate a person or program to be profiled either in studio, location, or Zoom. Sponsor a segment. We look forward to working with you.